Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Ivan Misner, founder and chief visionary officer of BNI. BNI, over 4 decades of transforming how the world builds trust, creates opportunities, and connects through the power of referrals. Ivan, so great to see you. I was looking forward to this conversation. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on. I love doing interviews. This is part of the business I absolutely love.
Fantastic. Well, this goes all the way back in 1985. What inspired you to start BNI, and what was your original vision for the organization?
Well, look, I'd like to tell you that I had this vision of an international organization with chapters all over the world. But the truth is, I needed some referrals for my consulting practice. I was a management consultant. My doctoral work is in organizational behavior. And I put together one group to generate referrals for myself and hopefully for my friends. And, I'd refer them. Hopefully they'd refer me. Um, I was young. I was 28 years old. I thought most people had this referral thing worked out, but what I discovered was they didn't. And people, we take only one person per professional classification. People came to that first group, they couldn't join. So they asked me to help them open a second group and a third group and a fourth group and a fifth group. And at the end of a year, we had 20 groups. And I was like, wow, what just happened? This was not part of my plan. But I realized that I had been, there's push marketing and pull marketing, and I'd been pulled through the marketplace, and it was important for me to pay attention to it. And that's when I really said, okay, this is going to be way bigger than I thought.
Wow. Well, just to remind everyone, back then there was no LinkedIn, right?
No, there
And
was
so,
no internet. I mean, we're talking 1985. Okay,
yeah,
so by 1986, we by the end of 86, we had 40 chapters. In 1986, the this blows people's minds. The second largest line item in my company's budget was the telephone bill.
gee,
Number one was salaries of employees. Number two was the phone bill. Phone calls were really expensive. Now look at us here. We're on the internet doing an interview from two completely different locations in the world, and it costs virtually zero. I don't
yeah.
even know where the phone bill is in our budget today. So it's 1985. It was all in person and it was very local.
What a different world. And I
Yeah,
probably assume like the third was probably a fax machine.
we did not have fax machines in
Oh, there was
'85.
there
I
was
mean,
no fax machine back.
yeah, no, there weren't fax machines. There were okay, so there were fax machines, but they were bigger than they were like they're like the size of a desk. I had one when I worked for the government a few years earlier, but I don't think fax machines really became pretty commonplace until the late 80s. I could be wrong about that, but
Yeah,
I think it was the late 80s.
yeah, yeah. Now, now you're like it's what over 11,000 chapters across 76
We
countries.
hit this morning, we just passed 11,400 chapters in more than 75 countries around the world.
Amazing. That's amazing.
I get a daily report on how many members we have worldwide. We have over 342,000 members worldwide.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, so is it? May I say that you are truly a founder of modern networking?
Well, you're very generous. Thank you.
You know,
I
this is
appreciate that.
this is truly amazing. Like coming after 4 decades with such a enthusiasm and excitement, it's truly amazing to see that. And this is for literally like a learning lesson for everybody, including myself. You know,
Well,
truly,
listen, I love what I do, and
yeah,
I think that's the lesson is if you love what you do, you can be excited about it for a long period of time. I think that entrepreneurs are either working in their flame or working in their wax. And when they're working in their flame, they're on fire, they're excited, they're passionate about what they're doing. You can hear it in their voice, you can see it in the way they behave. When they're working in their wax, it just takes all their energy away. And you can see that in the way they behave, you can hear that in their voice. BNI is still my flame. I love pouring into people. I love doing interviews like this where I can help business people be successful. I wish I had access to the kinds of things that you're doing in this podcast back in 1985. You know, I had to go to the library, read a book, or go to a bookstore, buy a book, or buy audio cassette tapes. For those of you who are under 30, there are these little devices that you would stick in a machine and play. And so, you know, today there's just access to so much content, and I didn't have that back then. Knowledge is absolutely power.
We take a lot of things for granted these days, you know. It's
Yeah.
and sometimes, you know, for example, for myself, like I see that I'm blessed being born in a time and space where we've seen all of it. I experienced you experienced this the the telephone and a fax machine, and you experience all of this digital transformation. I can imagine how that's, for example, for someone who's like a 20 years old, he has no reference. What do you think about them, for example? Because for them, they think about connection is just about being connected to TikTok or being connected to this technology. But what about that having a proper conversation, meeting with each other, like what you're doing with your platform?
Yeah. So listen, I have mixed feelings about this. Let's start with baby boomers like me. You know, somebody with a lot of gray hair, been around a long time. I'm just about to turn 69 years old. One might think, well, we had an advantage because all this technology wasn't there to distract us. Maybe, but the truth is, we had no idea how to network. We had no idea how to network. We don't teach this in colleges and universities anywhere in the world. When I was in my 20s, I mean, I had multiple years of college, and no one ever taught us anything about networking. And so we were clueless how to network and how to connect with people and to do it effectively. So when I started BNI, I mostly method acted my way through the process of learning how to network. So we forget about that. So today's young people, they know how to network. They don't know how to network in person, but I would argue, have a little bit of an advantage, and it can also be a disadvantage because they can rely too heavily on online and social media. And if you rely too heavily on it, it's not going to work for you. But social media has a place, and it has value. But I think we dismiss young people too quickly because we think, well, they don't know how to network in person. We didn't know how to network in person. We had no idea how to do it. 40 years ago, we were figuring it out. So I have more hope in young people than I think a lot of people do. However, they need to learn that online is not the only way. It is one tool in your toolkit to connect with people. It's not the only tool. One of the tools is, in fact, to meet with people in person.
Yeah, 100%. Now, you know, in your BNI's philosophy is built around givers gain. What does that really mean to you personally? But also, what does that mean to someone like thinking about relationship? Because a lot of time when we look at, for example, of relationships, it's not about what I want to get. It's like, what can I give first? So I love this philosophy that you have in BNI. Give us that the meaning behind you personally.
Well, listen, if networking to you is if networking is to you, the listener, what can I get from you? You're doing it all wrong. You really are, and I've learned this the hard way. And networking is really about building relationships. It's all about building relationships. And so, to answer your first question, what is givers gain? to me personally, giver's gain is more than a phrase. This is our core. This is our principal core value in BNI. These two simple words: giver's gain. It's more than a phrase to me. It's a way of living one's life. It's a perspective to view and interact with the world. It's an attitude, not an expectation. And when it's applied properly, it'll change your life. And when it changes enough lives, it'll change the world. And that sounds nice, but let's look at the hard data, okay? This is like touchy-feely. I'm the least touchy-feely person you might know. It sounds touchy-feely, but let's look at the hard data. Last year in BNI, we generated, actually in the past 12 months, we have the last 12 months, we've generated 26 billion. That's billion with a B. 26 billion US dollars. And thank you for closed business for our members. Now, thank you for closed business is the amount of business our members did with each other. Okay, 26 billion.
Amazing.
That blows my mind. Now, if you take a look at the United Nations estimates of GDP, gross domestic product for countries, if you take a look at UN estimates of GDP, there are actually 100 countries in the world with a lower GDP than what BNI generated in the last 12 months.
Amazing.
That's amazing. And so to me, giver's gain is not, a lovey-dovey, touchy-feely thing. It's a relationship thing. It's like, look, I'm here to help you. If I help you, my expectation is that you're willing to help me in some way. It might be to give me referrals. It might be to give me advice. It might be to give me support in some way. I help you, you help me. We work together and we both build our business. 100 countries in the world with a lower GDP.
Wow.
That, my friend, is the power of giver's gain.
Wow. Amazing. So you can imagine now, if you just, these nations, they just understand this secret of the power of relationship, how much wealth they can create, because it's all in a relationship. I mean, we look at, for example, most of businesses is relationship, right?
Yeah.
And
yes,
this is so powerful. Now, Ivan, you've written how many books? Close to 30?
30, but who's counting?
30. Wow, it's amazing. How do you find time?
Well, you make time. You got to make time. And many of my books have been co-authored, so I can't take full credit for all of them. I've co-authored, but I have literally co-authored all of them. They haven't been ghostwritten. So I've been engaged in all of the books. You make time. For me, it's Wednesdays. Wednesdays are my writing day. The only thing that I take out of my Wednesdays is if I have an interview. I'll do an interview on Wednesdays. Otherwise, Wednesdays are my writing day, and I spend the day. I'm sorry.
Now, what role the writing has played in clarifying your thinking, amplifying your message, and also building community you built so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's an important question for your listeners or viewers. There was two goals that I had when I started writing books. One was I wanted to educate people, and particularly my members, on how to network, because we don't teach this in colleges and universities anywhere in the world. So I wanted to educate people on how to network effectively, what worked, what didn't work. But the other thing was, okay, just between us, you can't share this with anybody, just between us. I wanted to get media interviews, because, I'd go to the media and I'd say, hey, can we talk about BNI? And they're like, take an ad out. We're not going to talk about BNI. And what I learned, what I had hoped, was that if I did a book, they'd want to talk to me about the book, and BNI might come up. What I learned was that the media will interview any idiot with a book, and I have 30. So I get lots of interviews. And my goal in the interviews, just to be honest here, direct, is to educate. I want the people who listen to you and watch you, I want them to learn something. This is, for me, Interviews aren't just promotional, they're educational.
Mhm.
And I get to mention BNI, which is also promotional. And if I do it tactfully, I get both. And so what I learned literally 35 years ago or so was that writing gives you a level of expertise that has the media want to talk to you. And the more writing you do, the more interviews you get, the more interviews you get, the more brand building you have. And that's the reason I continue to write.
Amazing,
I do on average about a book a year.
amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that secret.
All
I
right, that's
knew
a secret. You can't tell it. You can't tell it.
no,
This is
no,
just between us, okay?
exactly. Um, I knew the power of writing a book. I never wrote a book. People always told me you should write a book because when I meet with people and I tell them when we got time and tell them about my personal story, they say, "Wow, this is an amazing, amazing story." And I owe that to myself. So now that I know that secret, I'm definitely going for it. So count me in for that.
All right. Well, listen, there are a couple of programs that I know. One from a really good friend of mine. I think he's still doing it. It's like a 2 or 3 week online program for writing a book. And again, there are many out there. I recommend them, and I know many people that have written books as a result of taking various writing programs, not to teach you how to write, but to teach you focused on
Yeah,
writing and writing right now.
yeah,
And look, writing doesn't come easy to me, Epi.
yeah.
I'd be lying to you to say it came easy to me. I mean, oftentimes it's like bleeding from my fingers. It's it's hard work, and sometimes it just flows. I mean, you get into a groove, and sometimes things just work out, but other times it's hard work to do. But the results lead you to building a brand. Nothing builds a brand better. It's the best brochure you could possibly have for your business
I love it.
is a book.
Thank you. This is a great gift you're giving to me right now. This is amazing. Ivan, so great to have you. I want to have another longer conversation, but we'll leave that for next time. When I get to Austin, we'll break bread together. Now, what does the word bold mean to you?
The word what?
Bold.
Bold. Well, I mean, I think it's probably, I hadn't thought about that. I think to me, bold is about taking action that's congruent with your values.
Love it.
That's what it would mean to me. So I didn't expect that question. Um, I've never been asked that question before. I love that question. Uh, but I think it's,
I always ask this question at the end to
yeah,
all the people because I get a lot of different answers, but they're meaningful at large, but also the meaningful in a personal level. So I really love what you just said about like being bold is like being congruent with your values because
yeah.
you truly have
It's
to.
about taking action, being congruent, and being congruent with your values.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people can be bold and be rude and obnoxious and difficult and challenging. But I think if you're bold and congruent with your values, then you're making a difference in the world. And honestly, I believe that's one of the most important things is to make a difference in the world. We all have people who are in our story. I mean, we could do a whole session on the people in your story that have made a difference in your life. And I could tell you, I could do a whole session with you on the people who are in my story who made a difference in my life. And that's all really important. But you know what? It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is not who's in your story. The most important thing is whose story are you in? Whose life have you changed in some way to make their life better? And I think for me, part of being bold is to be congruent and to live your values and to be in someone's story, to make a difference in someone's life so that they live their life. You live on in other people's lives based on the way you treated them. And that's
Wow,
part of being bold.
amazing. Ivan, keep being great. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series, and truly looking forward to seeing you soon again. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always.
Thank you.